Hi everybody, I hope everyone's doing great. So this video, I'm going to be doing a full review of the newly released 8 palette shadows Wet n Wild. If you guys are interested, do stick around. So the 3 new color icon palettes is 739 Comfort Zone and 736 Petal Pusher. We have Blue Had Me at Hello 737 right here. So full swatches are going to be shown at the end of the video. So let me just give you guys my take on how I found these palettes. So first of all, at initial glance, I was absolutely just blown away just by the actual shadows that each palette had. I think they were absolutely amazing, and the mere fact that the price did not change, although you get 2 extra shades versus just 6. Unfortunately, when I did start swatching them and as I was working with them more, I found a lot of discrepancies, inconsistencies with the shadows, and I was definitely in the general quite underwhelmed by everything. The previous Wet n Wild palettes, the 6 palettes last year, Lust, Greed, Pride, Vanity, they were all amazing. And every shade from each palette truly gave a very, very strong pigmentation, very amazing texture and consistency. And unfortunately, this time around, it was just not quite the same. I'm not so sure if they've reformulated the shadows in some way or they've actually had new people manufacturing the product, but definitely I was quite underwhelmed and quite disappointed actually, especially with how promising they look. So let me begin by saying that first of all, I had one of the palettes drop on the floor on me, and right away, the amount of fallout was just outstanding, and it was from the darker shades. I believe it was this palette right here which I dropped, and all the fallout from the dark shades right here just splattered all over the other shades as well. And this is not just exclusive to this one palette. Some of the other palettes I've experienced that with as well, and when they fall out, they actually transfer to the other shadows within the palette, and they actually cause the shading to actually change. So that's one of the biggest disappointments, is I found that these certain palettes for some reason just have so much more fallout than the previous year, and a lot of the shadows, the pigmentation or the color payoff was very weak, or most of the time they looked very, very similar. So let me begin by talking about the most popular one, which is Comfort Zone 738, because I guess it's very neutral. When I first saw it, it did remind me of Urban Decay's Naked palette, and I thought this would be very promising as a dupe, but unfortunately that was not the case. I didn't find that this one had that much fallout, and the pigmentation of every shadow was not so bad actually, except I would say this definer shade in the left side of the palette, this one right here. It looks like a grayish shadow, but if you guys have the Night Elf from the holiday collection, I believe it's the same shade, and this one actually just comes off with an orangey cast or undertone. I don't know if you guys are gonna see that, but when you actually have it swatched, it actually looks like burnt orange and not gray at all. So it's very different from the color that you actually see in the pan. So this is this shade right here. That's all I would actually say about that. Nothing amazing, and the color, a lot of the colors of every shadow is not exactly, when you wear it, it doesn't wear as what you see on the actual palette. So I wasn't too impressed. Petal Pusher 736, and I believe for myself, this is the least. I did not like this at all, for the mere reason that all the shades in the right side of the palette right here, they are all just shades of purple. Now they look like this is a white and a light pink, and a dark purple, and a shimmery light purple, but they all definitely look like just lighter ranges from light to dark of all different purple shadows. So I really couldn't even understand how that could give you a brow look, eyelid crease, and definer right here. The shades on the left side of the palette are okay, but they looked also this looked very monochromatic, and I think they were all just too shimmery, and you will see that in swatches I have in the end. And the surprise of them all was actually Blue Had Me at Hello 737, which the name of this palette I really love actually. Now, initially when you see this is probably the one that you will least gravitate towards, but this is actually the best of all three palettes, and the pigmentation is amazing. They're all consistent, and the texture of each of these shadows are amazing. You have great mattes, you have great shimmers, and most of these shades, especially the ones on the bottom here, are great shades even on their own. This turquoise is beautiful. This wears just as you see it in the pan, this vivid and very creamy and blendable. And for the most part, all of these shades are that way. And the lighter shadows here, even this one is a great highlighter, even for grayish shadows or other looks. So I actually highly recommend this palette out of all of them. And I know it looks scary, but it is not. It really is not. And you can totally wear a lot of these shades with other neutral shades that you have and the basics you have right here. And this amazing navy right here is just to die for. And so I will switch you guys to the swatches in a bit, but that is basically my take on the 8 palette. Wasn't too impressed, but definitely if I was to recommend one, it would be 737 Blue Had Me at Hello. My least favorite is Petal Pusher, which is the purple plum one, and Comfort Zone 738. Not too impressed. The other shadows were coming out a bit too green and not very consistent. So I think the definer here was just my favorite. And for the rest, I'm sure you can find something similar in your other neutral palettes. So that is my review for the 8 palette. I hope that was informative for you guys. And if you have any questions, you can just message me. But yeah, that's basically, I would say, 3 out of 5 for Wet n Wild. Not as impressed. I do prefer the 6 palette more, formulation wise, consistency, and color payoff. So thank you guys for watching. I will be doing my next review are the trio of the color icons they've just released. So thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.